because on the other end where all of the workshops are, it's not in the right place. So where it says week 3, day 3 is a completely different workshop. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So right now, and she doesn't have any of them titled. So for example, when I go in there, all I see is week 1, day 1, week 1, day 2, and I have to open each one individually to see which one is presentation skills.
Okay, I see what you're
that's why I'm saying. So I just need a minute and I will definitely get that to you. I just have to figure out where it is.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay. Your hand over. And I think that's practice. Saying Mufid and Omalara. I'm not gonna log off just yet. I'm gonna give them a quick call and check in and see what's going on. But I am gonna mute myself so that if you want to get started, because these guys are already here and waiting, you can. And
Yeah.
I'll jump in after I call them and just let you know what's going on, and then I'll head out so I can get the other group going.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much. Hi, everyone. If everyone can have their cameras on, it would be great. I have my camera on, even though I'm not having the best hair day, as you guys can see. So it would be great if you guys, despite your bad hair days, can have your cameras on. I just wanted to say hello. I kind of wanted to get to know you guys a little bit better because we're going to be talking about presentation skills. Presentation skills not only have to do with material, but they also have to do with your own personality. They have to do with how you believe you are with other people, what you believe about yourselves. So we're going to be talking about presenting not only to present materials, but also to present yourself. What comes out, your personality, the way you say things, how you make yourself feel, and how you make other people feel. Depending on your material, your vision changes a little bit. What you want from the audience changes a little bit. And depending on what you're presenting, you also want to make sure that you're doing justice to the materials. So our presentation is actually going to be, and I'm going to be very transparent. I'm going to share my facilitator's guide with you. So basically what it says, have participants take out a blank sheet of paper and write their first name vertically. Have them write beside each letter an adjective that describes them that starts with the letter. So for example, we have 2 people with A. So what's your objective? What would be an objective that starts with A? Is everybody following along so far?
Yes.
Yep.
So T, what would be your objective that starts with T?
Tilban, I think that's you since your name starts with the T.
It's okay. We'll give you guys a few minutes, and you're going to write adjectives that correspond with your name, that describe what you want. So a soft skill adjective. So what would that be for you? And we'll take a few minutes. Take a few minutes to think about it, and then we'll go around.
Okay. Is it in the Drive as well, Google Drive?
No, you're just taking a blank sheet of paper and you're gonna write your name down. So you're gonna TH, and you're gonna write it down from top to bottom vertically. You're gonna write your name down.
Okay.
And then you're gonna write down things about yourself.
Or like something adjective like
Yeah.
positive something like that.
Yeah, like for example, Siaban, thoughtful.
Oh.
T for thoughtful.
Okay.
H for
Yeah, we did the similar thing before too. So I think we all have already. So okay, I can.
Yeah. You guys can, I guess you guys can use the same one, or you guys can think of different ones.
So Niru, I'm so sorry, I'm just going to jump in because I have to go to the other class. Mufid had an appointment today for his work permit, so he will be joining, but he said it might be an hour and a half. So
Okay.
it might be partway through the session. Amalara is not going to be here today because she's also taking care of some document stuff, but she will be all day. She is going to review the presentation materials and prepare for tomorrow on her own. So I kind of walked her through that.
Okay.
I'm going to jump out and let you guys go. If you have any questions, just call my personal cell because I'll answer that right away, even if I'm in class, if I see you calling it.
Okay, sounds good. I think we should be good. I think these guys are well versed, and if I fall off track, I think they'll help me get back on. So
Perfect.
I
All
got a good group here. So
right.
okay, have a great day.
Bye. Bye, everyone. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Holly. So since you guys have already done parts of this activity, what would you say? How would you? What were your adjectives for yourself? So who wants to go first?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Alicia.
I don't want to go first. I don't know what the activity. I don't know what the activities are. I don't think I did it.
So basically what you're doing, Alicia, is you're taking your name and you're writing it down vertically. So you're writing down Alisia. And then what you're doing is you're finding adjectives for your name. So for Alicia could be appreciative. Do you find yourself to be appreciative? Does that describe you adequately? Attentive would be another one. Are you a good listener? Do you believe you're a good listener?
Okay, thank you.
So let's take a few minutes and then I'll get back to anybody. If any of you guys are ready, go ahead, unmute yourself.
All right, sure. I'll go first then. I mean, it's easy enough for me. It's 3 letters, but yeah. So I've got A is adaptable, S is sociable, and H is honest.
Yeah, that's really good. And so if you take this and you describe yourself and you say, hey, my name is Ash, are you able to say, and I am, and list your objectives down?
Yeah, I mean, objectives in the sense of what I'm looking for employment, or
no, I meant to say adjectives. Sorry.
Yeah.
My name is Ash, and I am this,
Sure.
this, and this.
Hi, my name is Ash, and I am adaptable, sociable, and honest. How's that?
That's amazing. And if you do that over and over again, and we learn to present with simple things that we believe and we know are about us, then the words are smoother. So we need to learn to say them. So Theoban and Alicia, did you want to go next? Or which one of you guys want to go next?
I think Alicia first.
Wonderfully done, Ash. I'm going to have to voluntold one of you guys. Alicia, Theoban?
They might still be working. I mean, their names are a lot longer than mine.
Yeah.
I'm putting it together.
Just unmute and let me know where you're at.
Okay.
So I've listed it in the chat there. So you're going to say my name, and you're going to take your name, Alicia Theriban, and you're going to say I am, and then you're going to list down the things that you wrote about yourself. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes. Are you ready, Theoban?
Yes.
Yeah, and don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a small presentation. We're just getting ready and we're amongst friends. So all we're getting used to is presenting ourselves to people. So go ahead, say my name and then state your name and then list down what you wrote.
Okay. My name is Tiliban.
And I am.
I am. T for thoughtful. H for honest. I for individualistic. L for loyal. E for encouraging. B for brave, and A for ambitious, and N for that's what I'm searching for.
Nice. You are very nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. That's a good one. Does anybody else have something else for N? No other, those. We'll go with nice because you are very nice, Evan. Alicia, what about you? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, we're just going to make an attempt at it. So you're going to just say your name and then say I am and list down your adjectives.
Okay. My name is Alicia. My adjectives are A for authentic, L for limitless, E for entertaining, S for strong, I independent, A adaptable.
Those are really, really good. And that was really well done, all three of you. This amazing job. And I love the fact that you guys did that. So when you are presenting yourself, yeah, there might be a little bit difficult at first. But once you get into it, and once you practice the words, and once you believe your words, it gets easier and easier. And this will be the starting point for your presentation. As we walk through, we want to make sure that starting a presentation, we look at our handouts as well. So I'm actually going to bring the handout right on screen for full transparency. So when we're looking at having a presentation or giving a presentation out, no matter how big our crowd is, even if we're presenting to one person, even if we're having a conversation with one person, we're still presenting to them in a way. We're presenting ourselves, who we are, and what we want. So first things first, anytime you have a meeting, anytime you have a presentation, you want to get people's attention. For example, when you guys all came in, we all said hi to each other, and Holly said, hey, everyone, things are a little bit different today. Just bear with me. I'm going to introduce Niru. So first she got your attention, and she said, hey, everyone, how are you guys doing? She said hello to everyone. And you guys already knew Holly. And then she introduced me. And then she said, okay, this is going to be our workshop today. And we want to state with how we deal with the questions. So depending on what type of presentation it is, what are we going to be presenting on? You guys are going to be presenting on yourself. So if you start presenting on yourself, you're going to say, hey, I'm presenting about myself. If you have any questions, you can hold them through to the end. You kind of do your housekeeping. And you want to say, okay, if you want to just unmute yourself and ask questions at any time, you can go ahead and do that. Or could you please hold all questions till the end? And if you like, please use the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. You can also email me after class if you don't feel comfortable asking the questions in class. So we always do our housekeeping. Does anybody have any questions about this? So far, what we're going to be covering?
No.
All good? Okay, awesome. So when we're getting individuals' tensions, you could start with saying, if I could just have everyone's attention for a moment, please. If we could just get started, everyone, could I just have a moment and we clap? Perhaps should we begin? You can ask the question. So there's always a way to get started. Or you could say, let's get started, everyone. It's about time. Let's get this moving. You can say it any different way you want, but you also need to understand what type of crowd you're reading to. Is it a formal crowd? Is it an informal crowd? Is it a casual presentation? Is it a dinner? Whatever it is, you're trying to get the other person's attention. So say, for example, you and I are having a one-on-one meeting and, I say, Alicia, is it okay if we can get started now? Or are you okay? Should I get started? And or we say, okay, whenever you're ready, I can get started. Just give me a thumbs up. Let me know. You can get people's attention in multiple ways. But say, for example, I have a huge crowd, or I have a crowd of 3 or 4 people, and I just dive right in without any introductions, without saying anything, without even getting your attention. It always seems unnatural. And some people can't hear, they can't get started. So it gives people a moment to get ready, to get paused. Or you say, okay, we're going to begin exactly at 10:30. So 2 minutes from now, we're going to begin. So if anybody needs to get water, if anybody needs to take a washroom break, this is the time to get it. I will promptly start at 10:30. So in that sense, it gives people the opportunity to get ready. And this is what you always want to do. Even if it's a one-on-one meeting, you want to make sure that the people are ready to hear you, that you're ready to hear them. And even if we're doing presentations to people we know already and they know us, welcome them to your presentation and welcome them to your topic. So hello, everyone. We're going to be doing presentation skills today. So we started by getting your attention. Holly introduced me and we said, okay, we should get started now, even though we have a few people that are not going to be here. And, we say, welcome, basically. And we say, we welcome you to the presentation. We welcome you to this meeting. So the person knows that they're wanted. And this gives a sense of greeting to somebody. And this is how people would say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of everyone here, or behalf of Bridges to Employment Programming, or on behalf of Gwendolyn and Lorna, I'd like to sincerely apologize that Lorna couldn't be here today. She's not feeling too well, but I'm going to be subbing in today for her. And I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation. And if there's any gaps or problems within this presentation, I apologize in advance. So those are things that you can do. It always makes the audience feel like they're welcomed and you want to be there for them and you want to do the best. It shows people that you're vested in them, especially when you welcome them. Because the presenter can always be above someone, right? And that's when you kind of don't resonate with people. You don't really speak to them. When you welcome them, you bring them into the presentation so they're able to understand you better. You humanize yourself a lot. Does anybody have any comments or examples that they can give where they've been to a bad presentation?
This one might be a wee bit of a weird choice, but I way a long time ago, I remember I went to church with my grandparents for the Easter celebration, and for whatever reason, the person who was running that particular sermon just sounded so exceptionally bored with the whole thing. Just absolutely zero investment, and it was hard as listeners to be invested as well, just by virtue of the fact that it's hard to, listen to anyone when they're bringing in about this degree of excitement to whatever they are talking about.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That the monotone can be really, really difficult if you're in a presentation. I agree with you 100%. That must have been a hard sermon to sit through.
It was. I'm not a particularly religious person in the first place, so add that paired with, the dry sermon, and it was definitely a long hour. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and when a person doesn't welcome you in the right way, they also feel exhausted and tired by the materials. And especially you want to watch your tone. So we're actually going to be talking a little bit about that a little bit later on, is how to present, how to have a little bit of variation in your tone, and how to make sure that you're not monotone. And yes, I've also sat through some very bad presentations. So one example is in college and university, I had one sociology professor, and she was completely monotone. And it used to be a 2-hour class in person, and you would try not to fall asleep while she's talking. Sorry about that, guys. So you would try not to fall asleep while she's talking. And, sociology is an amazing topic. Sorry, excuse me while I just take a drink. And then, but one of the things that happens when you're in that is the topics can get very lengthy and they can get very tiring. So you have to make sure when you're facilitating and you're speaking to everyone yes, you have to make sure that you have a little bit liveliness in your voice. Yeah, and welcoming everybody is really, really important. Theban and Alicia, do you guys have any examples or any experiences with bad facilitations?
Is it bad facilitation? Mean, is it the presentation?
Yeah, any bad presentations? Have you ever sat through like bad presentations or ineffective presentations?
Yeah, like I had the similar experience like you, like in university, there was a chemistry teacher. She just read through things and no interaction, so we had to just. It feels sleepy during the class.
Yes. Yes. Yes, and a bad presentation. I'm glad that you guys all recognize the difference between a good presentation and a bad presentation. I hope today I just got the material. I hope I'm not a bad presentation for you guys. Fingers crossed. But yes, there's a key difference between good presentations and bad presentations, good facilitations and bad facilitations. And one way we can have good facilitation is by good housekeeping, making sure we hand the rules out, we present in a way. How about you, Alicia? Have you ever had a bad presentation that you've sat through, or like a bad meeting or anything like that?
Not that I can think of right now.
But if you
church.
Oh, church, yes. Ash, also church, yes.
Yeah,
bad ceremonies at church. So I went to church. I'm not I'm not Christian, but I've sat through church a few times, and there definitely is a difference between sermons. And they can definitely get really, really long, depending on who's doing them. So if it's not well organized. So what was your experience, Lisa? Can you tell?
It was just somebody reading from the Bible, and they were reading the King James Version, so it just put me to sleep.
Yes, and it really depends how you read it, how you tell a story. So you can, if I bring you into a story and I tell you a story, you can visualize the story. But yeah. So like it's the presentation. Go ahead, Lisa. What were you gonna say?
I was agreeing with you.
Yes, thank you for agreeing with me. And now I'm self-conscious about today's presentation, but I'm going to move on. So as you welcome everybody, you bring yourself and them down, because you really want to resonate with your crowd and you want to identify with them. And when you welcome everyone, imagine walking into somebody's house and they don't really welcome you. You can feel it, right? You can feel it because our feelings, our emotions are traveling through the air. And this is something that's proven. If you walk into a room and it doesn't feel welcoming, you say it. You feel like you can cut the tension with a knife. It's the same way if I facilitate something and my energy is not good. I don't welcome everybody. I don't do good housekeeping. I don't introduce everyone. I don't introduce myself. It feels like the presentation is starting off on the wrong foot, and I'll have to work harder throughout the presentation to bring the crowd in, to make sure that everybody's listening and understanding what I'm saying, and making sure that everybody feels welcome. And then then moving on, we want to introduce ourselves. So introducing ourselves can be very simple, or it can be very hard for some individuals. So for example, you guys just introduced yourself to me. And these are just some ways to introduce yourself. So you just say, hi, my name is Niru. I'm really happy to be here. And I'm happy to present this topic to you on presentations. I've been facilitating workshops for multiple years. I have a background in mental health and addictions, and I've been in social services about 15 years overall. And I have a great passion for teaching people and facilitating workshops so they can move forward with their goals. So have a small thing prepared about yourself. And oftentimes it's called like a 30-second elevator pitch. And the term actually comes from being in an elevator in Silicon Valley, where people were trying to pitch to get employment, to get opportunities in elevators to great investors and business owners back in the day. And it got coined as the elevator pitch. So if I met you in an elevator and you were to introduce yourself, how would you introduce yourself within the 30 seconds? So that's what we're kind of aiming for, is getting used to introducing ourselves. Because in every point in our life, the careers, everything that we do, we're going to want to be able to present ourselves first and foremost, and to present yourselves appropriately in every situation. And you could even do it in multiple different ways. For those who don't know me, my name is Niru Padmanabhan. You could say, as you know, I'm in charge of public relations. I could say, hey, my name is Niru. I'm the new marketing manager. And, you know, even if you're doing a presentation amongst individuals that you know, hi, everybody. Just me again, Niru. And if you don't know me, I am this, and this. I see here everybody that you guys already know me. We know each other really well. And I'm really glad to be presenting this topic to you. So it doesn't matter how you do it. It's about welcoming and setting the tone of the entire presentation, is having those pieces. So as we do it, you get people's attention, you welcome them, you introduce yourself, and then we state the purpose of our presentation. This morning, we're going to be presenting on the new processor. And when I started, I said, today, we're going to be talking about presentations and how to present and presentation skills. And even tomorrow, we're going to be doing the 5-minute presentations. So we actually break that down for ourselves, and we break it down so people know what's going to be covered. So I even, and right after you do that, you kind of do your outline. So there's so many different ways that you can do this. Today, I'd like to discuss our failures in Japanese market to suggest a new approach. This afternoon, I'd like to report on my study into the German market. What I'm going to be doing this morning is talk to you about our new mobile telephone system. What I like to do is to tell you about our successes and failures in introducing new working patterns. What I want to do is to show you how we've made the first successful steps in potentially huge Chinese market, in the huge Chinese market, whatever. So you can present, always know your topic and how you want to present it. Preparation is going to be your best friend when presenting. Although we've broken this down and it looks like, oh my God, this is going to be like 20 minutes of talking. No, this is literally 3 to 5 minutes. Your introduction of yourself, welcoming everyone, getting everybody's attention. All of this happens very, very quickly. And within that 3 to 5 minutes, as you introduce yourself, your topic, and welcome everybody, and you go through these motions, it settles everybody down and gets them into their workshops, and you let them know what you need from them at that time as well. State how you want to deal with questions. This is your housekeeping moment. So dealing with questions is one part of it, but I'm going to say state how you want to deal with questions and housekeeping. So say, for example, just a reminder, everyone, if you have a pen and paper, get it out. You might need to take a few notes here and there, or if you have your cell phone, you're welcome to take some pictures. Or you could say, no need to take notes, everyone. I'm going to be sending this presentation out, but if you do want to take some additional notes, you are more than welcome to do so. You'll be getting the presentation notes after this, and you also have your handouts that are already in your Google Drive, so you can follow along with me. And I'd also like you to know, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask at any time. If you have any comments, raise your hand. I'd love to hear some comments and feedback through the presentation. I feel that it makes it more dynamic for everyone. And if you have any questions, also feel free to unmute yourself and ask at any time, or put your question in the chat and I'll try my best to follow along as we go through the presentation. So you state it any way you want it. And these are only suggestions. You're not limited to this in any ways. And this is 3 to 5 minutes max if you're doing a large presentation for a large group. But if you're doing a smaller presentation for a smaller group like us, we often don't need so much time. This will happen in 2 to 3 minutes. Where we get everybody's attention, we introduce ourselves, we introduce the topic, and we move forward and we jump into the presentation. And even before the presentation, I can say, does anybody have any questions before we get started? And then we just go move forward. Does anybody have any questions or comments so far?
No, so far so clear.
Are you guys? Yeah, it's pretty clear. I don't think you guys need too much information about it. Okay, so we're gonna go to handout 1. So the assignment, sorry, I'm just trying to follow along how they've done this here. So we actually in the Next Steps programs do our facilitation a little bit differently. We always have a PowerPoint presentation. And then we break everything down in the PowerPoint presentation. But here we have Gwendolyn and Lorna do it a little bit differently. So just bear with me. So if you open it up to the assignment about you, which is actually handout number 1. So what you're going to do is your name. You're going to write your name down and you're going to say your name out in the presentation. You're going to write down your job objective, the type of job you're looking for, or the type of job you're working towards.
Is this the presentation that we're going to be doing tomorrow?
Yes, this is going to be the presentation you guys are going to be doing tomorrow. Did you guys find it in your folder?
Yep, I found it.
Okay, awesome. So you have the handout there. The presentation about that, you're going to be covering the following information. It's only going to go 5 minutes. So it's nothing really big. 5 minutes passes by like nothing. So what you're going to do is state your name. You're going to state your job of objective, the type of work you're looking for, what kind of specialized skills that you have determined from all of your self-assessments, such as who am I and personality dimensions. You're going to state your work history, your education and training. So in your education and training can include formal and informal on-the-job training and where you've done. You can also include, things that you've done that you've learned on your own. So for example, I'm self-taught. I self-taught myself, or I learned various softwares on my own. I'm very tech savvy, so I'm aware of how to use the SAS systems. I can do OCAD, different things. And I'm very well versed with Microsoft Word and multiple other softwares that require this, and this. So even if you're self-taught, it falls into your education and training. Your work history can also be stated not only as your work history, but also your volunteer work history as well goes into this. Just because it's not paid doesn't mean it doesn't have value. And sometimes volunteer work has even more value than actual paid work experience, because it could be so dynamic and it's looked upon in such a great manner. So these, and then you're going to be stating your hobbies and interests. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
No.
You guys are feeling good about this? Okay. So when we start at it, I'm just going to go back to what they have written here. Give me just a second, guys. Just bear with me. I got the materials like right at the beginning of class. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is actually filling in the assignment about you. Does everybody have access to assignment number 1? The handout right here about you.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to fill it out. If you guys can go ahead and take a few minutes, I'm going to give everybody about 10 minutes to fill this out. And what we'll do is we'll review it together and get you guys ready for your presentation. When you're preparing for this, and then we'll talk about how to prepare, because you can actually have a visual presentation if you want, or you could present off a sheet of paper and just verbally speak it out, or you can actually have a presentation format where you can have like a PowerPoint presentation, you can have Google Slides that help you make sure that you're following along, or you can just have a sheet of paper that you're reading off of. Is everybody following along so far? Yes. So why don't we take till 11 o'clock, and you guys can start by completing assignment about you. And once you guys are done, we'll go over how to best prepare when presenting yourself. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Are you guys okay with that?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So 11 o'clock, I'll just bring everybody back in.
Um, when
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, when it says work history, you want us to add any work we did or just related things we are trying to.
You can choose. So if your work history is very diverse, so if it's very like much like one thing here, one thing there, you can choose. You choose how to cater your presentation, which we'll talk about. So you can make a list of everything, and when you choose the style of what you want, you can take it out, or you can cater it to just what's relevant. It'll be your choice. This is your presentation.
So it doesn't matter even if we tell everything.
Yeah. So say, for example, in your presentation, you can say something like, although my work history will show varied and diverse experiences, which is another way of saying that I kind of have different jobs everywhere. My focus, and I want to remind everybody, my focus and my objective is to continue my work history in this field or in this type of job. So restate your objective. I'll actually help you on that. If your work history doesn't doesn't follow a particular pattern. So you can state it all down, and we can talk about ways that we're going to state and work through the presentation.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yep.
Just a quick check-in. Does everybody need a little bit more time?
Yes.
Do you guys want do you guys need like 10 more minutes? Because I just realized if you're writing your work history down, it might be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Do you guys want till 11:15? Will that be fair?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, awesome. 11:15. And as we do that, I'll just review the rest of the materials that that Lorna wants me to cover. And then that way it'll go a little bit smoother instead of the fumbles and tumbles.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I put down my work history, do I put down the work history pertaining to the job I'm looking for? Or do I put down everything within the last 5 or 10 years?
You don't want to go back 10 years. You kind of want to summarize when you're doing a presentation. What you can do is, as Sylvan was saying, that I was saying to him, is if your work history is really diverse and you worked a lot at different places, but it's very valuable because of time that you've spent there and some transferable skills, you can choose the ones that were that had significance, even if they weren't related, because you learned something very significant or valuable there. And that's where we can choose to have different ways of presenting it. So for Theoban, I said, like, I've had a diverse work history. However, I feel that these are all related to my objective in moving forward because I've learned so many things at these different positions. For example, in this position, I learned to communicate effectively and work in fast-paced environments. So you can make a statement to bridge any gaps. We'll talk about it as you guys choose what way you want to present. And we can kind of do like a mock run through if you guys like. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you're gonna start at 11:15 or 11:30 because there's a break at 11:15.
Oh, you guys have a break at 11:15.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know your guys' schedule. Yeah, what we can do is right after you guys finish 11:15. What time do you guys come back?
15 minutes later, so 11:30.
Ooh, did you guys just or did you guys just want to go all the way through? We're not gonna go till 2. Like I don't know the way Gwendolyn and Lorna cover their materials. I will not be able to go till 2.
Okay.
So
I mean,
do you
I'm fine with
do you guys just want to go all the way through and we'll probably finish around like 11:45. We'll probably finish.
Yeah, that's
Do you guys
good.
just want to go all the way
Yeah.
through?
Yeah, that's fine. We might as well go all the
Yeah,
way
we
through
can
as
do
long as
that.
everyone else is okay
Yeah.
with that.
11, like maximum
Yeah,
12, we'll
perfect.
finish.
That's perfect.
Ooh, okay, that's good. Thanks for the consensus, guys. And I really, really appreciate you guys bearing with me today on how it's going. So it's not as smooth as you guys are used to. key idea that you're presenting. Go ahead, Taiwan. You were unmuting yourself. Did you have a comment?
No. Actually,
and then you can say things like, my key objective here is to make sure that you can understand what I'm looking for based on my previous history. My hope is that you walk away learning a little bit more about me and what I hope to achieve in the future job market. The goal here is that I'm going to try to present to you myself and what I want to achieve for myself in the future. This gives you a little window into me. So like, these are the possibilities. Start out with a statement, entice me, bring me into that. And it's really important because in that sense, you're becoming a storyteller about yourself. Does this make anybody a little bit nervous when I'm making this type of a statement? Do you feel nervous bringing somebody into your key idea like that, your objective, your goals, by making a statement such as this? Do you guys feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So once you can prepare your key idea and statement and you can say that, so this presentation is about you, you're going to make that and you're going to summarize. Today, I'm going to walk you through this. And my key objective through all of this is to try to give you a window into me, so you can understand me and what I want for my future career. Just any statement like that, 10, 20 seconds, break it down for yourself. Then understand who is your audience. How much do you know your audience? How much can you assume they know you? Right? What will interest them? So for me, as you can see, I'm kind of dynamic. I kind of like to speak. I like to have my voice. I like to be loud. And I love showmanship, right? I'm giving you a window into me. I love big and I love if you guys make it exuberant and I love when you guys make it professional. I love presentations. This is facilitations is one of the most, has been one of the best parts of my career. So when other people facilitate, I feel it helps them bring out their own self-confidence. It helps them recognize, especially when they talk about themselves. We've been told in our society that we're not supposed to talk about ourselves. We're supposed to be very humble. And the person that talks about themselves, is very flashy and that's not good. It's not presenting yourself. But talking about yourself in the right light, describing yourself in the right light, feeling good about your experiences, presenting your experiences, builds self-confidence, builds self-esteem. It builds you and it builds your identity. So I find it's very, very important to be able to talk about yourself, to present about yourself, to be able to showcase yourself. It shows that you feel good about yourself. Right? And when you do it with practice, you start to believe everything that you're saying. So understand that. I love when somebody does that. So for me, as an audience, I will be one of your guys' main audience. So I'm giving you a window into myself. But what if we don't have a window into them? What if we're in a particular setting and we're in a job-based setting? It's for fashion and design, and they have a certain way of doing things, or you have a certain company, or it's an accounting job, or any type of job it is. You want to maintain professionalism, but you also want to show your own personality a bit, your own particular feel for things. And no matter who your audience is, you want to put a little bit of you into it. And a little bit of you doesn't mean that it's supposed to be out there. I'm not saying come to, a presentation wearing a flamingo outfit. I'm saying come to the presentation as professional as possible, but also show yourself within it. Make a statement that describes you, put your feelings into it, put your heart into it. And just say, hey, I don't know everyone here, but I'd love to give you an opportunity to get get to know me better through this presentation about me and my work history. I appreciate your time, and you can go from there. You can state it to them. I hope this will get us, help us to get to know each other a little better. So, and please let me know anywhere through the presentation if you're a little bit more interested in something, or let them know how you want to be heard. Put that statement out there. Never be afraid to do it. Does you guys have any questions or comments? Any fears around the presentation?
No, none so far.
You guys are a really strong group. I just want to put that out there. So I'm going to go over presentation styles. So there's many different ways to go over presentations. I basically just went to HubSpot and I Googled presentation styles. On our other group, we have a presentation style PowerPoint presentation, which I'm unable to share right now. So I just went here. So when we have presentations, there's many different types of presentations. Here, they're discussing 8 major styles of presentation. But your presentation style can be eclectic. It can be based on however you want to do it and your comfort level. The more you present yourself, the more you put yourself out there, the more facilitations you do, the more presentations you do, you come up with your own style based on your comfort level and your personality. So when we walk through different presentations, I like to do visual style presentations. This is where you have slides that help cater your visual point of your visuals, help cater your major points, and it helps the speaker follow along to what you're saying because they can focus on the slide and the statements on the slide. So this would be a PowerPoint presentation. This could be pictures. This could even be the fact that I brought up HubSpot. I could have totally just kept on talking about HubSpot and not shown you, but I actually want to put this in our chat here, and you guys can take a look, but I don't want you to concentrate on it. Just keep this as a guide. Because in this particular one, they show different people presenting using these different styles. And if you're going to go into a job, or if you're going to go into a market where you're presenting a little bit more, this is a good one to have. This is a good blog. The HubSpot is really good for resources. And this is a really well put together article on it. Does anybody have any questions so far? Nope, feeling good? So the next style is freedom style. So this is more like what Wendelin and Lorna like to do. So today, based on their presentation style, it's more of a freedom style. You don't require slides. You don't really require anything. You base it on your experience stories, and you illustrate each point based on a worksheet or whatever somebody's supposed to be doing. These presentations tend to be short. For example, in our different programs, the Next Steps program and the Newcomer Youth Connection program, we like to go with the visual style and a presentation style where we have PowerPoint presentations. We have some kind of visual guide that can be followed upon. In this class, however, we like to utilize freedom style where there's not a whole lot of slides. There's no PowerPoint presentations. There's no visuals to follow along with, but we're talking through everything. Does anybody have any questions about freedom style? No. So freedom style is going to be less preparatory. So it's going to seem impromptu at moments. It's going to seem like the person might not be as put together, but they know their material. They know what they're talking about. So today I'm freedom style. I'm kind of impromptu. I'm going with the flow today. Although I might not be as prepared, I know my material. I understand what presentations require of individuals. I understand the nervousness that might come with the presentation. The third style is instructor style. So instructor style and visual style can be combined to make a presentation, but it's delivered as if, you kind of have a teacher. And it can even be done with visual aids without visual aids. But it's highly impactful when you have visual aids and you're doing instructor style, and it's based more on topics that the teacher or professor is more familiar with. So, for example, complex messages on economy, finances. It would be an educated individual that would be talking on a topic, and they would be delivering complex information to make sure that they can impact the audience and educate them on this topic. So, for example, if I'm talking in a classroom setting, university, college setting, it's going to be more instructor style. And sometimes what I'm seeing from the material with Lorna and Wendelin, they also do instructor style with less visual aid. So you have less follow along. So you can choose that. So even today, if you guys want, you guys can choose to make a PowerPoint presentation about you, and it'll help you follow along in that presentation if you guys want. And there's also TED Talks and presentations attached onto this particular article that I've chosen to present today. So the fourth style is a coaching style. A coaching style is more of what's used by motivational speakers these days. And it's basically, asking more questions. It's more charismatic. It's more entertaining. It's more like, what do you think about this? Ash, if you were put into that situation where you had to present today's material on a drop of a hat, do you think you could do that?
Oh, no, probably not. Not well, at any rate.
I think you could. I think you could 100% present this material just as well or better than I could today with the same preparatory information. Like, I believe all of you guys have the capacity to do this. But you have to put yourself in the positions to be doing this. Could you do coaching talks? Could you give motivational talks based on the topics that you know about, based on the emotions that you feel? We all are well versed in something. And today I'm asking you to get better versed in yourself, to get better versed in who you are, what your dreams are, what your goals are, and what your objectives are. And then that sense, you motivate others to do it as well. So this presentation style requires you to bring other people in. Stories, fables, examples. As I walk through my work history, it doesn't lead down a smooth path. This path has been very rocky, but I've learned through it. I've learned to pave it as I go. And now, before I walked on rocks, now I walk along a flowery path. I know how to plant seeds in front of me, so as I walk through, the flowers grow in my path. That is a coaching style. I walk you through what I want you to see, visualize, and I bring that through the coaching style. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it sound profound?
Yes.
Somewhat profound? And that's what you're doing with the coaching style. You're bringing your students in. You're engaging them in there. Have you ever felt like you walked on a rocky path? Yeah, so you engage the audience in question answer. It's very different, and you can choose what you want to do with a coaching style. And a coaching style can be, if you check any motivational talks, they tend to use more coaching style. Another one that motivational speakers actually also do is storytelling as well. But storytelling is where you use examples and you start out with a story and you walk people through a story. So either I start at the end. He crashed. He sat there while he was almost dead. She sat there, she cried, and she held herself in her arms. She had nobody else to embrace her. She got fired. How could this happen to her? She had worked so hard. And then you walk somebody through. It doesn't mean that you have to do this for this presentation. I just want to keep you through it. So different types of presentations will require us to do different things. And if we feel comfortable, why not tell ourselves like a story, right? So you can choose a story style, 5 minutes. And so in terms of this, it can also be used in sales. So if I'm doing a presentation for sales, I can often start with examples like, a client, this happened to one of my previous clients. So I want to make sure that I am presenting this topic to you. So you could use this product in order to ensure that this doesn't happen to you. Let me walk you through that. So you want to try to see where you can put these in, but storytelling becomes key in certain types of presentations, in certain ways of presenting. And when you want to elicit a certain type of reaction from the audience, probably our presentation style today will not be storytelling because we're not really trying to tell a story. But if you guys do it, I told you I love showmanship. I'd be cool with it. But think of it as you're walking through it. How do you want to present, right? So another way is connector style. So connector style is also used by many, many people. So you could bring like a physical aid. You can bring something in that shows a physical piece of something. So I actually watched this particular TED Talk. It was very connecting. Like you could feel what the presenter was going through. She actually brought a brain, a particular type of brain into the presentation, and she gave out gloves, and people were able to hold the brain, and they were able to examine the brain. And this was a TED Talk. So she was some kind of neurologist. So you talk to people's pain points, you talk to their hurts, you appeal to their emotions, and you can do this by asking questions. Have you ever been hurt? Have ever you felt like you deserved more in your career? Do you ever feel like opportunities don't come to you in the right places and the right times in your life? So what would be a good question that you would ask to engage somebody? Can you guys give me an example? Alicia, Ash, Theoban?
It depends on what exactly you're presenting, but asking somebody, it's something along the lines of, have you ever experienced something similar? Or tell me about a time that you had something similar happen to you, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a really good one. And sometimes certain questions and presentations are asked not to get a response. But if you do want a response, yes, you ask a question and you say, I'd love to hear back from you guys. So what would be another way? So in your presentation tomorrow, if you're doing connector style, what kind of question would you ask me? What kind of question would you guys ask each other? Would you put a question out there to get a remark? Or would you ask a rhetorical question not to get a remark? So a rhetorical question might be like, have you ever felt like you just keep on beating your head against the wall and not getting anywhere? Have ever you felt like you keep on working and working and it's not going anywhere? And this is why I've decided, and then you lead in. So I'll let you guys think about it on connector style. And then a particular style is a LASIK style, is where it's a particular style invented by Lawrence Lasik, and it's based on having short slides. So you have 1 or 2 words on a slide or 1 or 2 visuals on a slide, and you pass through each slide very quickly with the pertained information. So you're giving them very quick information, and the topic is very, very much geared, and it's very well decided on what each slide is, and you're not taking too long. So one example, you say one thing, one example, and then you move on to the next slide. So this was actually used a lot in law school, and this is also used a lot in medical school. So this is a very educational way of presenting certain slides. Takashani style, I'm not too familiar with this style, but it looks like it's just using PowerPoints and slides to get your point across. So as you guys can see, I don't know if this was helpful, but you can see there's many ways of presenting. Choose the way that you want to present and see what works best for you. Do you guys kind of have a style in mind right now that you want to present with? Go ahead. Devan, go ahead.
It's, I think, can I see the list? I think it's the first one or first or second.
Yeah, and remember, I'm just showing you guys this as an example, so you can go back and look at the styles of presentation and choose your style. So if you want, the visual style was the first one. So if you want a visual, freedom style.
Yeah,
so
that's the one.
Yeah, freedom style. So, and you guys can also do instructor style. So, because you're going to be the one presenting, you're going to be talking about the topic, which is you, and nobody really knows more about the topic than you. You are the coach, you are the instructor, and you are presenting the material because you have all the science behind it. So, Ash, Alicia, do you guys have kind of a style and the way you guys want to present? Are you guys getting a gauge of it?
Yeah, I generally speaking, I tend to default to free form, so it'll probably be that again this time.
Yeah, and you know what? You choose the form that you feel most comfortable with, and where you feel your personality stands out the best. So I've tried different presentation forms. There's only a few that I'm kind of like I get kind of nervous on, but generally, yes, if you're comfortable with free formatting, do it. How about you, Alicia? Have you kind of figured out how you want to present?
I'm just gonna introduce myself.
So yeah, you're gonna like a free format. You're gonna do a free format. You're going to introduce yourself, but it's gonna have a flow, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So that was my main point. That's what I want you guys to get across is that even though you're presenting, you can choose a format in which to present that you feel comfortable in. Oops, sorry, I closed it again. Just a few more points to cover on our thing, and then we have a short video, then we're all done. So you can choose visual aids. So you could do like a handout if you want. You can prepare a PowerPoint presentation. You can have a sheet of paper, or you can have like slides. So say, for example, you don't want your sheet of paper rustling because tomorrow you guys will have your cameras on. I hope you guys will be dressed. I'll do a better job on my hair tomorrow. I'll make sure it's not as frizzy as it is today. And we'll make sure that we're presenting well. So if you don't want your paper ruffling or rustling, you can make little slides for yourself and kind of put them up on the table in front of you. If you do have your paper in front of you, we're going to move on to our third point. We're going to rehearse, practice, practice, practice. Know your points. Even though this is about you, oftentimes when we do presentations, we can fumble our words and stumble our words. And remember, this is not to get an A or a B or a C or a D. There's no pass and fail. It's only to get feedback so we can improve for ourselves. Everything that we do in these classes is to move ourselves forward. And we're always in a non-judgmental environment, and it's always a safe environment. I want to make sure that everyone knows that they feel safe here and your words are of importance here. So practice what you're going to say. rehearse it. Don't feel afraid to rehearse it. Oftentimes when we put words on a paper, we get scared to go back and look at that. If you don't want to look at the paper, understand the words that you wrote. Practice in the shower. Say it to yourself while you're cooking dinner tonight. Know your material. If you know your material in and out, the words will flow a little bit more clearly, and you'll just need slight variations to go back. You'll just have to take a glimpse at your paper, and you'll be able to look at the screen while you talk. And then you want to make sure that you dress nicely, you're prepared, you speak clearly. And one thing I wouldn't want you guys to do is read right off your paper tomorrow. So if we can try to avoid that, I would appreciate it greatly. So even if when we're at an interview, we often don't have our resumes in front of us even, because we're speaking to the individuals in front of us. This is so we can learn our resume and learn our experiences. And so when we get into interview situations, we have the opportunity to talk about our experiences more clearly, more diversely, and we can give somebody a more intuitive window into what we've done in our work experiences and into ourselves. The presentation itself is going to be 5 minutes. So I am going to be timing you guys. So make sure you're timing yourself as well to make sure that you're presenting your main points. And the main thing, remember, we're all going to be looking at you're going to take 1 minute to get my attention or get each other's attention. We're all going to be getting each other's attention. Welcome and introduce yourself. Hey guys, you guys already know me. I'm Elisa Wright. I'm going to be presenting on myself today and doing the presentation. And if you have any questions, can you please hold them to the end of the presentations? This presentation is going to be very short. It's going to be timed. It's about 5 minutes. So let me get started and walk you through it. So you could do something like that. So today I'm going to be covering, and then you can walk through and cover. I'm going to be covering my objective today, which is, and then I'll walk you through my specialized skills, my work history, education and training, and then I'd love to talk a little bit more about my hobbies and interests. Does that give you guys a good example of maybe how to do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys can choose. You guys don't have to do it exactly the same way I'm doing it. You can do it the way that you feel comfortable getting it done. And then, and once you do your agenda should take no more than like 15 seconds. Because all you're doing is stating what you're going to be talking about. Again, reminder, please hold your questions till the end. It's going to be a very quick presentation. And we want to make sure that our tonality is proper. So being enthusiastic, appropriate, entertaining when it needs to be, crack a joke or two if you want to, be yourself, and let your personality show through, and let yourself be heard and seen the way you want to be heard and seen. And if you feel nervous, say, hey guys, I'm a little bit nervous today. I've never really presented on myself in this way, but I'm going to make a good attempt at it at this very moment. Thank you so much. So if you want, you can use an anecdote or story that illustrates certain points in your life. So, for example, you can talk about if you had a lot of work history, you can summarize that work history. Say, I worked various jobs from 2010 to 2015, mostly in mechanics or mostly in a reception or mostly in this particular field, or my work history from 2010 to 2015 was varied in different fields because I was still trying to decide what I wanted to do. From 2000 and 2015, if your work history is not Canadian, you can also say like our economy back home wasn't doing the best. So jobs, there was a lot of job scarcity. So you were moving on to positions very quickly because there was a lot of layoffs layoffs within the economy. So I worked in multiple positions that actually helped me get very diverse in different fields. It worked to my advantage. So you can use statements like this to illustrate your point and summarize your point. So you don't have to walk through every single work history that you've had. And if you have gaps in your work history or breaks in your work history, you can also state that as well. I decided to take a sabbatical. I decided to take a leave for about 2 years while I worked through the immigration process, came to Canada and settled in. I decided to take a few years off when I had my first little one, and I wanted to focus on being a parent. And then I'm back into, the job market now. I've, done this, and this. So there's multiple ways that you can walk somebody through a work history and give them a slight indication. Does that help you guys with some diverse examples and ways to present? Or is it a little bit more confusing if I say it like that? Go ahead, Seba.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Do you guys have any examples or things that you want to share?
It kind of sounds like a no, I think.
Yeah, it's like, there's like a little tumbleweed going down there. After the 5 minutes, everybody will have time to ask questions and make comments. So 5 minutes is just yours. I actually would say in your presentation, when you're doing the first part of it, say, can you please hold questions till the end? Because if we start having questions in the middle, your 5 minute time kind of gets skewed and you don't really get to learn, like, can I do this in 5 minutes? And pace yourself. So I have a bad habit. I don't know if you guys noticed it. I sometimes get really excited and I talk fast. Did you guys notice that? Tumbleweeds, guys, tumbleweeds.
You haven't been too bad about it so far, I don't think.
So
I don't
yeah.
recognize anything bad.
Thanks, guys. So yes, it does happen to me. So I have to always make a note to myself to pace myself. So general rule is each slide, each point should have at least 10 seconds. And no more than 100 seconds. So you don't want to be spending more than 60 seconds on a particular point. Certain points like your hobbies and your interests might take 30 seconds or 20 seconds, but your work history, you'll have to kind of look, your work history might take the bigger chunk of everything that you're talking about, depending on how you decide to describe your work history. So I will be timing you tomorrow. And remember, it's not do or die. We're practicing with each other. We're learning how to be better with each other. So when we get out there, we can be better for our employers, better for ourselves then. This is to create that foundation. We're building that foundation today. We're building that foundation tomorrow by presenting. So even if you have presented, present in a different format, present in a different way, present with a little bit more excitement, and know that everyone here is there to support you. Always believe that. Anytime you do a presentation, I want you to stamp it in your brain. Everyone here is here to support me. Everyone here is here to help me and listen to me. Always make sure you walk in with a positive attitude. Even if you're feeling nervous, nervousness physiologically has the proven physiological, bodily response as excitement. The same neurons fire, the same neurotoxins get released, the same neurotransmitters are acting up as nervous excitement. So you make the choice. Are you going to say I'm nervous or are you going to say I'm excited? So in yourself, say I'm excited. Everybody's going to love my presentation. I'm going to do a great job. I got this. So give yourself a quick pep talk. That's one of my general rules I'd like to put in here. So what we listen for is variations in our speech, our tonality. So Ash, Alicia, Thaiban, we all talked about the monotone. Professor We all talked about ineffective presentations, and it often has to do with the tone of the presenter. The material is often sound. I'm pretty sure like the Bible, our school material was pretty sound, but it's the presenter that adds life to it. It's the facilitator that gives it meaning. Our words have meaning when we put emotions into them. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so when we talk about it, intonation is the rise and fall of pitch. So as I speak about something exciting, my voice changes a little bit. It goes a higher pitch. As I talk about something more dramatic, my voice goes down. My facial expression changes. You can see this all happening. And as I change my facial expressions, as I change my hand movements, whatever I do, you can feel it happening even if you're not looking at the screen. I hold my pitch in different ways, high, low voice. My pronunciation changes as I say different words. And even if I'm not able to say the words, I say, sorry, just let me repeat that. I correct my word, right? I stress certain vowels and syllables and stress certain words to make you feel like there's more emphasis on it. Right? My tone conveys emotion when I want it. I want you to feel like you're walking on flowers. You're creating a foundation. I use visual forms. I love using visualizations because that's where most of our brains communicate. Even if you can't see, you will visualize. This is a proven fact. So how do you want to stress that? So you want to be able to stress certain words that are more important. Let me walk you through my vision of who I want to be. I like to take you through the goals and objectives that I have in order to walk in this field or in order to be in this field. I've had a really diverse work history, but now I want to focus on this. So my words change, my tone changes, and as that happens, I bring the audience in. So stress, so English is a stress-based language. Stress conveys the meaning in our speech. Stress emphasizes certain words more than others, content versus functional words, and it creates an effect on pitch, volume of voice. So pitch and volume of voice will change depending on where we stress. So for example, you have to do it. You have to do this. If you don't do this, I don't know what you're doing, right? It's very different from you have to do this and I'm putting my finger in your face. So you can feel a threat. So it really depends on how you're saying it with slight force. You have to do this. If you don't do this, you're going to, I feel like you might regret it, right? And then you say, it's mandatory. It was a key difference between mandatory with slight force. And then when I say, you have to do this, and I point to you and you feel like it's geared towards you. And then you feel like you're often being targeted. So you want to be very careful by saying you. And whatever statement follows on, you are the only person that's you. You are the only person that knows you. Those are very different than saying that you're the person who did this. So accusatory. So you never want to sound accusatory. You want to be like you. Make sure your statements are prepared properly. You have to do it. You have to do it now, right? So you have to make sure that your tonality is very appropriate. So we have an exercise. So it's about, I guess, Jack will cycle to the restaurant. So do you guys want to give it a try? You guys can try one each. Jack. Alicia, do you want to go for the first one? We're almost done, guys. Don't worry.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Which one you want me to read? Which one?
The one that says Jack. So you're going to put emphasis on Jack.
Oh, I'm so lost.
it feels a little bit rehearsed, but you're going to be like, Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. Or you're going to say, Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight.
Yeah. So you're saying, so Jack's will cycle to the restaurant tonight. So like, it could be excited. It could be a lower tone. It could be more emphasis. But the main thing is Jack in this particular one. So Ash, you want to try the second one?
Sure. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight.
Perfect. Yes, very well done. Yeah. So you're kind of putting that he's going to have to cycle to the restaurant tonight. Perfect. Theoban, did you want to try the third one?
Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight.
Yeah, and very well done. So Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. So the emphasis is actually on, in the third one, the emphasis on the bike. The bike is the main thing on here. So it's the main point of emphasis. So it also gives you a window into what's being said and how it's being said. So if I go something like, oh, Alicia's going to be doing this, it makes, you can understand in my tone that I'm not being very nice to Alicia, but I'm like, hey, Alicia's going to be doing this. It shows that I have excitement for what Alicia's going to be doing. So we always want to make sure that we have those variations in tones. You actually understand if a person is good for you or bad for you, depending on the variation that they use on words and emphasis that they use on words and the way they say them and the tone that they say them in. So the fourth one is Jack will cycle to the restaurant today. So the thing is, so, you know, the emphasis on where he will be going. So it's the to. So Jack will cycle to the restaurant today. The restaurant is the main thing. Jack will cycle to the restaurant tonight. He's going to be cycling to the restaurant tonight. Not tomorrow, not the day after, not the AM. He'll be cycling tonight. So does that give you certain ways? And then your pronunciation can be slow. It can be paused. You can pause certain things if you feel like they're going to be more effective. You can say them slower. So I'd love to show you a little bit more about myself and give you a better understanding about me and what I want out of my future career. Give me a second to show you, walk you through a quick visualization. When I was young, I wanted to be this. As I got older, I realized that wasn't possible. And then as I aged and I got into the work market, things weren't as I thought they were going to be. Things didn't turn out always the way that I wanted, but I had an amazing go with some amazing employers. And I'd love to walk you through what I want to do. So now my focus is this. And then I can slow down and pause and be more effective. So you become a more effective storyteller when you use your tones properly as well. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns?
No.
Okay, awesome. So a few don'ts. Don't hold your notes up. Don't have your paper rattling. No mumbling and whispering. And again, guys, if you do your presentation, you're getting nervous, it's not a pass or fail. Like, we're just doing feedback for each other. So if you feel like, oh my God, I need a redo, just tell me. We'll do a redo because we're here to learn. Don't ramble without any structure. So that's why you want to know your material. So have your material somewhere in front of you, so you can have a slight indication of how you want to follow around. Don't act surprised. It's saying act surprised that a question has come up. I would say no. You can say, oh, that's a great question. So instead of saying act surprised, act excited that somebody has asked you a question. Be happy to answer that question. That's what I would change that with versus being act surprised. Or you can say something like, and if you are surprised, oh, that's a really good question. I never actually have been asked that question before. Yeah, I'd love to answer that. So don't get, shaky hands, feet, palms. Nobody's really going to notice you. You're on camera. And even when you're in person, a lot of people are not paying attention. If one of the best icebreakers is that I'm a little bit nervous right now. I'm sure that you guys have been where I have been. So I'm going to try to make this as quick and painless as possible. Just bear with me as I work through this nervousness. So you can say things like that because it just normalizes you. It humanizes you. Do you guys have any questions so far?
No.
Are you guys starting to get a good gauge on the way you might want to present your, do your 5-minute presentation tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I'm doing you guys justice.